So we're going to be doing pretty much a mini workshop on data research. Basically, I'm calling it a mini workshop because we are going to be diving in deep into a couple of the tools that we search engine optimization specialists use to gather data from the search engines. Now, keep in mind, the search engines collect the most amount of data on us because every single day, over 9.5 billion searches are done on Google. And where is the first place that we go when we need help or we need information? We jump on Google for that, all right? So understanding how to get the data from the search engines, that way it can inform your business development plans, your marketing plans, but ensure that you create the right content is critical. So this one is going to be really in-depth so you can rewind and take your time as we go through it. The first tool that we're going to be taking a look at is Answer the Public. So make sure you get some water, get your notepad, and we're going to dive in deep, starting off with Answer the Public. As we are in this tool now, what you're going to be doing is you're going to change your country, and then you are going to put in the search term that you want. So you could put in whatever product or service that you are looking for. So let's just say if we put in marketing and we hit search. Answer the Public is going to scrape Google's search engine, and it's going to give us every single question that was asked in the last 30 days in Trinidad with respects to marketing. So when you jump on the tool, you're first going to be greeted with this beautiful, nice infographic. I know some of y'all are trying to break your necks looking at this thing, but don't. What you are going to do instead is at the top, you're going to select data. And then it breaks everything down into categories. So what we're looking at is we would have gotten 392 results. So there were 392 queries in Trinidad in the last 30 days that had the word marketing in it. And we can see all of these questions. So for the first section, we can see, let's take a look. Are marketing jobs in demand? Are marketing and sales the same? Are marketing degrees useful? That's a pretty good question. Are marketing managers happy? Wow, that's another one. That's another interesting one. All of these are questions that people in Trinidad asked with the word marketing in it. All right. Now, you kind of want to look at this like content, and also, to get the mindset of where your audience is. Every single piece of every single question that you see, you can determine, is this a piece of content you could do with, a social media post? Is this a video that we could turn this into? Is this a podcast episode? Is this a carousel? Is this a video? You guys will be able to look at the topic, look at the question that you guys are seeing, and figure out which term that you see, which question you see, and what can you turn it into. Now, if you're seeing some, like I have an additional tool called Keywords Everywhere, and what this will do is it will tell me how many times globally that term was searched for. So these numbers, if you see 0, it's usually because I need to take this and put it into the actual tool itself, and it charges me to get the exact number. So they give me some for free, others I have to go in and pay for. But don't pay too much attention to this. Make note of, every single question that you see was asked. Somebody typed it into Google, right? It just doesn't give you what the search volume was per term. If you scroll down, you get the prepositions. All right. So as you guys can see, two search terms per day is a heck of a lot, because if you're getting, over 300 results for each of those terms, that's a lot of content to work with for 2 days. By the time you sift through this, you probably don't even want to go and search for the other free search term that you would have gotten. And then if you scroll down some more, you're going to see the comparison section. So anybody that would have been using your word marketing and comparing it, you're going to see it broken down here. And then lastly, when you get down to the alphabeticals, what this is this is all of the search queries. So all the search queries that you would have typed in with the word marketing in it, you'd have that right here under the alphabetical section. So this tool is really straightforward. It's an extremely powerful tool because this tool alone, you will never run out of content because it's scraping all of the data that was searched within your country for the last 30 days on your particular topic. You will never run out of content with just this tool alone, but you're also going to understand, what is happening within the space, and you're going to be creating the right content, the most aligned content, because this is what was typed in on Google. This one is, I'll put it up, Answer the Public. How you guys liking that? Yeah? Yeah? Correct. Or like I said, if you're doing it from your home Wi-Fi, you could use your phone and hotspot, and then that will give you another 2 free searches for that day. And then I know if you want to stretch it, right? But at midnight it resets to give you your two words. Listen, I've used this tool. Well, you might as well just hotspot. Oh Lord. Well, I haven't tried those antics. The most I've gotten is with just hotspotting from my phone and getting a two free additional searches. Now here's the good part, right? Oh well. What you can also do, pay attention to this, is you can click download into an Excel document. So every single search you do, you want to download it to an Excel document. That way you have it there, so you're not having to repeat your searches for the same terms. All right, so you guys can download that. This is, like I said, a very powerful tool. It's one that I use pretty often, especially at the beginning of the month when you're going through your content planning. Because it's going to scrape everything for the last 30 days, and then you guys can really dig in to see, what makes sense to turn into long form content, or, what do you want to create a social media post on. So next area that we go to get content, and you guys would have seen this all the time, which is Google Auto Suggest and People Also Ask. So if we go over to Google, right, the minute you start to type in anything, Google Auto Suggest engine is already kicking in, showing you usually the top 10 to 15 queries with that people have searched for that particular day. So if you were to type in, if I type in how to make, and I stop right here, these are the top 10 searches with the how to make root words for today. All right. So this is always good if you need some quick ideas on content. Again, being able to tap into Google's data is always going to be good, because we know that people have actually searched for the stuff that you are looking for when we're able to pull this data. And also remember that Google is also geolocation is always on, so it's always going to show you what is happening from Trinidad. All right, it won't show you what is happening outside. It'll give you what is happening in Trinidad first before it gives you anything on the outside. But all of this that we see in the auto suggest, this is from Trinidad. So how to make Sahina is the number one query for today. All right, How to make buttermilk? I didn't. We can make buttermilk at home. Interesting. Okay. Oh, oh, good. Vinegar in milk. Well, I don't want. Yeah. Wow. Okay. I did not know. I learned something new. I learned. I'll be clicking on this though. I feel for some cheese paste right now as I see it. And look at this. How to make money online. I in the game, folks. I in the game. This is my type of query. So Google Autos. Say it again. Well, you see, perfect, right? Perfect. So Google Auto Suggest is always a good place to look at for content ideas, right? Now, if you click on a query or you search for anything, if we scroll down, the next key section is people also ask. Now, this section is super important because what this does is the number one and number two spaces that are highly coveted on the Google search results page is number one, the featured snippet. Because what the featured snippet is Google is saying, okay, the most authoritative website that is answering this question, they would have extracted the information that answers your question and put it smack dab at the top for the featured snippet, right? So this website, Oberlo.com, is the most authoritative website that is answering the question of how to make money online. The second, the runners up to that would be the people also ask section. So Google will look to see, okay, well, what are some other related queries to what you were looking for, and it would extract the data from the most authoritative websites that are answering that question and put it in the drop down. So when we come into people also ask and you hit the drop down, one, we get to see, well, who are the authority figures answering these questions? And then also as a content creator, if we know that these are the most popular questions being asked right now with respects to the topic, because people also ask is a different variation usually of what we would have searched for to begin with, this is amazing content to just take and put your own spin to it. So how can I make money right now? That's a question that is heavily being asked in relation to how to make money online. I would take that exact same question. I would not change it. And I would go write a blog, do a video, or do some social media posts because it is a highly ranked question being asked in Trinidad and Tobago. Unfortunately, I bet you if we go through it, it's not going to be answered by anybody from Trinidad and Tobago. Cash Overflow, Entrepreneur.com. But also because these websites are so authoritative, somebody that wants to answer these questions in Trinidad would have to have a website. If they wanted to get their information ranked on this page, they would need to have a website. They would need to answer this exact question, and they would have to drive a lot of traffic so that Google can say, "Oh, okay, there's apparently somebody in Trinidad that is answering this specific question. They're getting a lot of hits." They'll have their own little threshold internally that they don't disclose, but when they hit that threshold where they say, okay, this website from Trinidad has now the most authoritative website answering the question of who gives free money, it would then replace this section from goodfinancialsense.com with the information from one of our websites. However, you as a content creator using this information for social media, you can straight up just take these questions and turn it into content and put it out on social media because, again, these are highly ranked questions being asked right in Trinidad. How are we for Google Auto Suggest and people also ask? There we go. There we go. That's exactly it. That's perfect. And again, relatively straightforward. It's just again because Google pulls so much data and they rank the questions, they rank the data. These are two places that are the most asked questions with the most authority, getting answered by the most authoritative websites that from the Trinidad geolocation. So next, then you guys will let me know if I'm going too fast, right? All right, perfect. Nice. So next up is Google Search Console and Bing Webmaster. Now this is gonna make a lot more sense when Chanel finishes up the website and we have all of the integrations connected. Google Search Console was gonna track a lot of the data of how people are finding us on Google Search, and same thing with Bing. So if we pull up, I'm gonna pull up my Google Search Console. All right. So this one is really good. This one is really good. So when we come to Google Search Console, what we're gonna do is on the left-hand side, we're gonna click on the search results. So this is the section that gives us the breakdown of our website's performance on Google Search itself. So it's going to show us, how we are being found. If people are finding our links to our websites on Google Search, are they clicking on it? Are they clicking on our pictures, our videos? We'll be able to see all of that right from Google Search Console, right? So as of right now, our filter is on web content. So this would be links to our website or web pages from our website. And then we have it on the last 3 months. That's the default right there, right? So what this is telling me is that my website, Karen Rose, has been seen on Google search results page 142,000 times in the last 3 months. Now, why this is significant, why the impressions on Google search is more significant than any other platform is because remember on social media, an impression is just, we work on timelines on social media. So somebody scrolling through that sees your post counts as an impression on social media, right? The difference is with Google Search Console and Bing Webmaster, somebody had to perform an action to get to see your content. So somebody had to type something into Google search or Bing search, and then that generated a link from your website that was displayed on the search results page. And as long as somebody landed on that search results page and your content was on that page, that would generate an impression. So it's a hell of a lot harder to get impressions on Google Search Console and on Bing Webmaster because somebody has to take an action versus on social media, people could just be scrolling through and that would count as an impression, right? So the more content that gets put out from your website, if we do the research correctly and we are continuously making content that people are actively searching for and they want, then our impressions are going to go up, right? Now, here's the thing with click-through rates, and I think I spoke about this in the last session. Click-through rates are always going to be low. The average click-through rate right now is like 15%. It's terrible globally, and that's because Google has cannibalized our click-through rate. So just like I would have said on when we were looking at Uber Suggest last week, if we were to go and type in a question, because Google is giving us the answer right then and there in a featured snippet, or the people also ask, I would have gotten the information without having to click through to somebody's website. So Google is getting better and better and better at extracting the data from people's websites and giving it to them. And while that's great for user experience, however, we suffer on click-through rates. which means that when people do actually click through to your content, again, it is a higher quality click because that person could have gotten the information right from the search results page. And if they didn't and they found your content and clicked through, they are a heck of a lot more qualified and inclined to, scroll through your content than when Google was not serving up all the information on the search results page. So it's lower clicks, but higher quality clicks. And the more impressions means the more opportunities that you get for your content to be seen by people who are actively taking action by typing in questions on Google, and then your stuff is coming up as a result. So when we scroll down, we have a few key tabs. So number one is queries, which is big. So what I like to do first is I click on impressions because I want to see which query generated the most impressions for me, right? Now, with queries, what we're looking at is these are all of the things that people would have typed into Google that would have generated a result with a link to your website on the results page. So people are typing in JMMB online, and my website for my content has come up 20,000 times. So you see why impressions here and your click-throughs here are so much more important and significant than on social media, because people have to type these things in to get to your content. All right? JMMB online, 20,000. Now, the other part to that is, because we're learning about doing the research on what people are looking for and what people want, right? That influences the content that you create, which will give you a higher chance of people finding your content and actually clicking through. So things like JMMB online, I never decided to just wake up one day and write about some of the content I've done on JMMB. It's because when I did the homework and I've seen, people they want to get paid through PayPal, but we can only get paid through PayPal and JMMB. Well, let me write about PayPal and JMMB. But I've also done multiple articles, and my headlines were different because I wanted some that captured PayPal in Trinidad, and I wanted some headlines to capture JMMB. That way I know I could get both. And, as we can see, the two biggest things that have been driving traffic to my website over the last 3 months are queries about JMMB and queries about PayPal. All right? So you can go through to see, what are the key queries that people are typing in to generate the links for you. And you can see which one you're getting the highest impressions for. Remember, your click-throughs are always going to be pretty low because Google can extract the data and show it to people without them having to click. But you can click on clicks, and then you can see which is the keyword that is generating the highest clicks for you. So for me, I like the fact that people are actually typing in my name to Google, and they're clicking on the results to go to my page, which is good. And you can go through all of these key terms. Now, what you can also do is you can kind of reverse engineer, right? So let's just say if I were to see that JMMB online is getting, tons of traffic for my website, then you can kind of reverse engineer and go to Ubersuggest and then take that keyword that's driving traffic for you, or go back to Answer the Public, right? Go back to Answer the Public, come on, Trinidad, and type in JMMB. And that would give you all of the questions that people have asked about JMMB in the last 30 days. And then, once I get the questions that people have asked on JMMB, I would then create content around it. So we have 258 questions that people have asked in Trinidad on JMMB. I would sift through this and then say, okay, which one is related to my specific business and niche, create that content, and get it on my website. I would go into Ubersuggest, type in JMMB, go to Trinidad, and I would try to see if I can get some of the search, the age ranges. All right, so I didn't get the data for the age ranges, but again, we can see what is the top performing content with JMMB's name in it, and then we could see if it's something that we could speak to. That way, we can get that type of content on our website or create that content on social media. So that's how you would kind of reverse engineer to say, okay, well, what is getting the most traction for your website? What can we throw back into Ubersuggest and JMMB, and what new content is being looked for that we can now create, so that we can strike the iron while it's hot, strike the pot while it's hot, and keep pumping out content in relation to your space. Any questions about that so far? No. Okay. All right. No problem. Cool. When we go over to pages, we want to click on impressions again. And what this is going to show you is these are the pages that are generating the most. These are the links that are generating the most impressions on the Google search results page. So my blog on why everyone needs a JMMB account in Trinidad has been seen 33,000 times on Google search results. My blog on what are Visa debit prepaid credit cards has been seen 25,000 times, right? So all of these are your links that are generating the most traffic for you to your website, but are being seen the most on the Google search results page. So, good question. Social media is not indexable, meaning that the all-knowing, all-seeing Google and Bing, they cannot go on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and sift through all the data to see what these posts are. The only thing that is indexable on social media is typically your usernames, which is why when people Google your specific name, your profile would come up. Or if you have a keyword in your title, and someone searches for the keyword, your profile can pop up. But nobody can type in why everyone needs a JMMB account and see my post on Instagram or on LinkedIn, right? Because social media is not indexable. This is pulling from, so this is showing you how your website and your content is performing on Google search, right? So when people go on Google search and they type in something, whatever it is, right? When your content shows up and people scroll through, right? That would count as an impression. Whatever they type in on Google, once they scroll through on whatever page your content is on, that would count as an impression for you. All right? So the next important tab is your countries. So again, I like to look at my impressions. I want to see which countries are seeing my content. Now, keep in mind, this is significant again because on social media, people can scroll through and people could, hit the explore page and see your stuff, and your impressions are racked up just by people scrolling through, right? But on here, on your Google search results, people in the US would have had to type in a query onto the search result page, and my content would have been found. So this means that people in the US, so for the last 3 months, People in the US have seen my content 13,000 times on Google search results. So they would have been searching for something in relation to something I would have put out. And they wanted specific to Trinidad. All right. So you can look through, see all of the countries that your content is being viewed in. And again, people would have had to have typed something in to Google to generate a link to your page on the Google search results page. So this will help you. This really helps you on measuring the performance of your content. So once you've done the research, so you would have used your Google Trends, you would have used Answer the Public, you would have used Uber Suggests, you would have gotten all these content ideas, you would have put the content out there. So even when you make the blogs on your website and you repurpose that content on social media and you drive traffic back to your website for people to view the full out blog or the video that you embedded on your website, all of that helps build the clicks, all of that helps build the awareness on the Google search results page. And the more people that find your content and click through it, Google will look at your website and say, okay, well, this website is getting a lot of traffic. This website clearly is an authoritative website. We're going to bump these guys over to page one. And also, if they created a piece of content that's getting a lot of click-through rates, if this is doing better than what we currently have in the featured snippet or what we have in the people also suggest, then Google will extract that data from your website and put you in those coveted spots. So the more traffic you can drive back to your website is always going to be the better. And I always try to use social media. So after I've written a blog or done a video, I'll try to create social media content that kind of breaks it up. But the call to action, I usually try to drive people back to my website to view it, because that just helps me with the search engine rankings. And anytime you guys get on page one, or if you get your stuff into featured snippet, or people also ask, people are going to be seeing that first and foremost. And it just helps build your brand awareness and your brand authority. And the more impressions that you get is the more opportunities you have for clients to find you and ultimately do business with you. The next sections are not totally important. I mean, devices is good if you do like to get super granular to see how people are viewing your content. Are they coming from mobile, desktop, or tablet? You have that here. And then search appearance will tell you the different types of ways people are viewing your content. So are they viewing it? So AMP is if somebody is using a Chrome browser and there is a feature called accelerated mobile pages. What it does is it kind of just strips all of the frills out of your website, all the pictures, videos, and it gives it to them kind of like in a bland text to save on data, and it makes viewing the website faster on people's mobile phones. That's what AMP Rich Result is. If you have videos embedded on your website, you can see that here as well. Product results are your products. FAQ results, if you create FAQs on your page, that'll show there. And also if you create web stories. So quick question, have you guys ever heard of Google Web Stories? All right, this is good. So Google Web Stories is the most powerful stories platform, period. Now, what Google Web Stories does is, you guys know we have stories on every single platform, and you guys know how that works. You upload your story, it's good for 24 hours, and then it's gone, unless you slap it in highlights, and then you're kind of hoping if people even go through your highlights or make it through your highlights if you have 1 million of them, right? Right. But Google Web Stories does stories differently. So who has an Android phone? Okay. You know when you go onto your Google search bar on your Android device, If you click on the G, you'll get your discover page, right? And this is like a stories timeline. So Google learns what your interests are, and it shows you relevant stories to queries you would have searched over time, right? What will happen is when you get to the bottom, you'll start to see videos showing up, and videos will automatically play. But then you can also see web stories. So when you click on it, it loads up an actual web story and it goes through like normal stories. But the big difference is that you can create web stories on your website. And then when people search for a particular thing, so somebody could search for how to make money online, and you could create a web story. Hey, 5 ways to make money online. Create a web story, and the web story can be made up of pictures, videos, sound effects. You can add clickable links and different elements to each of those Google web stories because they are based on your website. They're based on they're hosted on your website, so people can click on these links, and they show in the Google feed as like a story would on your social media platform. But people can click on whatever links you embed into your stories, and then also people can search for it, and it lives on. So it's not 24 hours and disappear. It's whenever anybody searches for that particular question or query, if you did a web story on it, then it would show up. Trying to see if I can I want to see if I can give you guys an example. Let me see if I can yes, there you go. Google Web Stories examples. All right, so it looked like this. This is an example. So I can click on this. This is going to load up a Google Web Story. Now, the experience looks way better on your mobile phone for obvious reasons, but this is what it looks like on desktop. So you can add videos, you can add text over them. Skip over to the next slide. So what a lot of newsrooms are doing is they're now making these interactive news stories through Google Web Stories. And it sifts through just like that. And again, it lives on forever. You can add music to it.
At a place called the Alchemist Bar, and it just has...
You can add music to it. You can add clickable links. Let me see if I can get to the end quickly. Come on. Right. So you can add clickable links to the web stories. All right. And again, they live on. So this is great for evergreen content, and it's just a new format. These are getting really popular because Google only launched them. I don't even think it's been a year since Google launched Google Web Stories. But as the capabilities of it grows, the use case scenarios are perfect. And as more people, start to use their Google search and they see the stories, whatever they're searching for, you have a new channel to create interactive content to answer people's search queries. And believe me, like when people go through and see this already sets you apart from everybody else locally because, man, ain't nobody doing Google Web Stories. But that would be, I will leave that to you guys to kind of, when the website's finished, we could always explore, Google Web Stories and how to create them. And I'm sure you guys will do a better job at creating them than me. So that's Google Search Console. So that Google Search Console kind of ties everything in together for us, right? And then quickly, Bing Webmaster Tools. As you guys know, the two top search engines is Google and Bing. Bing Webmaster kind of gives us the exact same stuff. Question, we touched on Bing Webmaster before, right? Oh shoot, hold on. I lost my audio. Oh my God, hold on. Hold on. Hold on. You guys might have been talking. I did not hear a word anybody said. I lost my audio for a second.
I just said, Joel said yes, maybe, and I said I'm not sure because I left early in the previous session.
Okay.
I can't remember
No worries.
hearing about the big.
I'll touch on it quickly. So as we set up the website, we would then be able to set up our Bing Webmaster Tools, and it does pretty much the same thing. It gives us all of the data of how our website is performing on the Bing search engine. But for this purpose, the most important part is the SEO section, and we can come into keyword research, and we would be able to conduct research on our audience, but using Bing data. So we can specify our country. Oh, we got to put in the word first. So we could put in marketing, and then we could specify the country, and then change it to 6 months. And then we would get all of the data from Bing. So if people in Trinidad were using Bing, we could see, how many times they search for the word Bing how many times they search for marketing on Bing. What are the top countries that are getting the traffic for marketing on Bing? And then you would be able to get the top keywords or the top queries and questions that people are asking on Bing on your respective term. So all of the tools that we used before, Google Trends, Ubersuggest, Answer the Public, all scraped from Google's data. But Bing has their own tool. So this is another data set that we can kind of tap into to add more data for you guys to work with and play around with. Because there are pockets of people in Trinidad that use the Bing search engine, right? Well, put it like this. Google has 92% of the market share for search engines, and Bing has 6%. But when, I think something like 15 billion searches are happening per day, 6% of that is still a chunk. Right? So, but it's good to know, because I don't come in here often. But when I do come in here, I usually just kind of want to see, what is happening on Bing? What are people searching for on Bing in Trinidad? I might get some data that I wasn't seeing on Google. All right? And just the fact that as long as you guys know it's available, it'll be up to you guys when you guys are building out your strategy, where you guys get the data from to start building your content around. But I've gotten some really good stuff from Bing. There's also been times where with the other tools, I might have seen so much data, and then because with Bing, I might have gotten so little bit of data that I might just see one thing and I'm like, oh wow, this stood out. Affiliate marketing for beginners. I might not have found that going through Answer the Public 300 questions. But in the 10 questions that Bing gave me, affiliate marketing for beginners, that stuck out. I might do content on that. All right? So you guys can play around with that, but this Bing Webmaster Tools would only be available once we set the website up. But I just want to make you guys known of it. Plus, it's going to be recorded, so you guys could always dive back into that afterwards. So moving on. This one is relatively easy and straightforward. TubeBuddy for YouTube. Have any of you installed TubeBuddy for YouTube? All right, no problem. So, anybody using Chrome, go to the Chrome store and search for TubeBuddy and add that. It is godsend, and here is why. So when we go on our YouTube, right? Let's type in, I'll just type in this guy Devon X. Click on his channel. Watch what TubeBuddy is going to do for us. Oops. Hold on. So what TubeBuddy is going to do for us is it starts off by giving us our analytics on everybody's channel. So you can search to see, which channels in your respective niches, who's getting all the views, what have been their views for the last 30 days, what are their lifetime views, right? But then when we go to the person's video section, this is where TubeBuddy shines. So let's click on this video.
Yo!
If we look on the right-hand side, TubeBuddy is going to give us data on this specific video. So we're going to now see that the video is viewed. It'll tell us how many views, how many comments, the best practices if this particular person, did everything for best practice on YouTube. But most importantly, it gives us the keywords that people would type in for their YouTube videos. And this is Google SEO 101. This is YouTube SEO 101. Everything that is found gets found via the keywords that you pick. So to put this into perspective, you would have done your research using Google Trends, Ubersuggest, Answer the Public. You would have found all the keywords you want. You would have then created a video, uploaded on YouTube, and you would have, taken a bunch of those keywords that you would have found in your research, and you would have added them into the tags on your YouTube video. However, what you're also going to do is when you go on anybody's channel, so let's just say if we did a video on marketing, I would type in the keyword marketing and I would look at the #1 video that is ranking on YouTube for the word marketing. I would click on that video and then I would scroll down to the analytics and I would look at all of the keywords that he used to be found for his video, right? I would make note anything that is relevant because Google gives you up to 50 keywords you can put into the section. I would take as many as I need because if people are finding the #1 video with these particular keywords, then I want to include at least half of them. I want to try to maximize as many of the keywords from my own research. And then I would take the keywords from the videos 1 through 3. I would take some of these keywords and add it to my own. But then, because we know how to now do research on keywords, look at these keywords and then copy and paste it and then drop them into Ubersuggest. Drop them into Answer the Public and see what content that you can get from those particular keywords from the #1 videos on YouTube. What new content can you get? What questions are being asked with respects to email marketing or video marketing? And then we would get that specific to our country. And then the cycle continues, rinse and repeat. Knowing that this is the #1 video and these are the top keywords that he used, I would throw these into Ubersuggest, see what questions they are, create more content, distribute them on my blogs, distribute if it's a video, put it on YouTube, take keywords that I would have found on my own research and then take keywords that I would have found from the #1 through #3's videos and add some of those keywords into my tag section. How you guys like TubeBuddy? Which part?
You say you're taking these search words and you have to go back to the others that we were before.
If you want to get, because, okay, so like I said, this is the #1 video for marketing on YouTube, right? So what I can do in knowing that this is a #1 video, because TubeBuddy is giving me all of the tags, all the keywords that this creator would have used, right? And this is how YouTube is finding his videos. So I would then take a word like video marketing, right? Because again, you want to be able to get inspiration for content from anywhere. So if I see that the number one video on YouTube has a tag like video marketing, and maybe I want to do some content on video marketing, I would take that keyword, I would throw it into Uber Suggests, and I would see, are people in Trinidad searching for the word video marketing? Right? And then I could say, okay, only 10 people searched for video marketing over the last 30 days. Now, would that be something I would create content on? Well, depends. If it's something that you know needs to be done because video marketing is huge, then you know that a low search volume means that you're probably going to have to spend more money and more effort to market that content to get it in front of people's eyes. Because maybe they're not hip to video marketing. Maybe that's not a search term that they're hip to. So they're not actually searching for video marketing in Google. Right? But then you as the business, this is where you'd say, okay, well, we have to be the thought leader. So people need to know about video marketing, but we can see that they're not searching for it. Well, we know that we're going to create content and we're going to educate people on video marketing. And because there's a low search volume, maybe we start with something like, what is video marketing? And break it down simple so people can wrap their head around it. That way you can kind of move into more of the thorough content surrounding that particular topic. All right. So that is where I would look at these and I would throw them back into what Uber Suggests or out to the public to see, are people in Trinidad searching for any one of these terms? Because you'll probably get some gold. Like I know if we put digital marketing, we're probably going to get some gold from there. Right? And then sometimes, like I said, initially with Google Trends, when we would have made that long list of terms, sometimes you don't think of everything. So when you get to see other websites, their search queries and the keywords they're being found for, when you get to see people's YouTube videos and the keywords that they are being found for, that's just more inspiration for you now to be able to create more content. All right. So we are almost done. I have two things to touch over, and then we'll take any questions. So currently you guys, I know HubSpot, you guys have HubSpot but haven't used it as yet, right? So how does HubSpot fit into the equation? HubSpot ties in all of our marketing efforts. It ties everything together. And I'm going to show you guys how. Let me just log in if it would let me. This is free HubSpot. So when and again, HubSpot there's a lot to HubSpot, so I'm only going to touch on just two key areas. So where HubSpot ties everything in is when people, find our content and they come back to our website and then they subscribe to our pop-ups or our newsletters, or they make a purchase on our website, HubSpot tracks all of those interactions and puts those people's contacts into your CRM, and it tracks all of their movements on your website. So now when we scroll across, we can see that, okay, all of these people subscribe to my platform, but we can now see exactly where the people came from. So when I see something like organic search, that means that the person Googled me, right? Organic search is Google. I can see, first referring site, again, was Google. I can see the first page that they went to, and look at that. The first page that this person seen from my website was getting paid with PayPal in Trinidad and Tobago. When we looked at my Google Search Console, we seen that PayPal was the second highest keyword that was generating traffic for me, right? And the last person that just subscribed to my website found me via Google, and they found my getting paid with PayPal in Trinidad and Tobago, and they then subscribe to my platform right after that. So you can see exactly where your subscribers to your platforms are coming from. Yes. So you can see the first where they came from, right? This person came from YouTube. You can see the blogs, all of the content that they would have found. The first piece of content that drove them to come to your platform, you would see it and where they came from. All right? All of that is recorded, and then when we actually go to the person, when you click on the person's contact, you can see their entire journey on your website. So take a look at this. Every single action they take, you can see everything. You can see where they came from. You can see all of the pages they viewed on your website. You can see when they submitted information to your website. Every single page that they do. Once people subscribe, HubSpot is tracking everything you do on the person's website. So you'll get some people where you pull up their profile and you've seen, oh wow, this person has viewed 70 pages of my website, all of my content. That person is a highly qualified lead. And at that point, you can now reach out to the person with a message to that person and talk to them and see if there's business that can be done with your platform, right? When you start to do e-commerce or you sell anything, HubSpot also tracks the revenue. So it would be under deals, and you would see how much money that person has spent in your business as well. You can see how many times that person has come back to your website, how many pages they viewed as a highlight. You get to see all of that information. So the better the research that you do, the more aligned content you create, the more impressions you get on Google search, there's more opportunities for people to come back to your website. And once they subscribe, these are higher qualified people to do business with you because they are here for the right reasons. They asked the right questions, but you knew which questions to answer to create content around, right? You can also do things like you can do email marketing right from HubSpot as well. And because HubSpot collects so much data, the email marketing is more in depth, but I won't get into that. What I will get into, I'll touch on, is when you guys run ads, HubSpot will track everything. So HubSpot will track all of the impressions that your post has made. This is without even doing any ads. HubSpot will track all of your posts. It will tell you how many impressions. It will tell you how many clicks. When people subscribe to the platform, right? You can see exactly who subscribed. And again, you can see where that person came from. That person came from this post on Facebook. So HubSpot is tracking all of that information for you. And it gets, go ahead. Well, no, but where Hootsuite comes in is Hootsuite. Well, depending on how you're using Hootsuite. If you're using Hootsuite as a scheduler, then what you can do is you could take the paid plan with HubSpot, and HubSpot has its own scheduling platform built in as well. And everything would be in one place. So you can create your content calendar, schedule out all of your content right within HubSpot, and then you could send it to somebody. So let's just say if you have a team of people, right? And everybody's creating the content. Once they put it into the content calendar, it would automatically flag whoever's the admin on the account, and then they could approve the content calendar and the content to go out. All right? The other thing I want to touch on here really quickly, because we're running out of time, is the prospect section. So when you come into prospects, Joel, I know you're going to love this more than everybody else. Prospect shows you every single company that has come to your website. So I can see that Digicel apparently loves KarenRose.com because they have sent 6,639 people and they have viewed over 16,000 pages of mine on this website. And you go down the list. Look, Ministry of Community and Development. I can see that they've had 86 visitors from the Ministry of Community Development. They viewed 158 pages. We don't get a ton of info, but when you click on preview, you can see the first time they've come to your website, the last city that visited your website. You can see the original source. Organic source is Google. So somebody in Ministry of Community Development Googled something in relation to me, and I showed up. And then you can also see related companies. That way, you could then go back through your contact list and see if anybody has subscribed to your platform using their business email. And then you could reach out to them on something like LinkedIn. So I'll give you an example. I know that Columbus Communications and Flow, they're usually checking out my platform, right? So what I do once a week or once every 2 weeks, depending on life, I'd come into my contacts and I kind of scroll through to see if I spot anybody's business email. If I spot somebody's business email, so I'll give as an example. Right. So I see this guy's business email at CWC, right? He's coming from Flow. When I click on his name, I can see all of the content that he has watched on my website. I can see where he came from, right? But then when I go on LinkedIn, I can pull up his name and see who he is, right? So, so if we go, where did his, all right, so if I pull him up, I can see that Chris Coles is the Chief Commercial Officer for Business for Cable and Wireless. And I can see every single thing that Chris has done on my website. So if I want to reach out to Chris, I have an informed pitch to Chris because I know that he's been on my website, he has subscribed to my website, and I can see what content he has read, has watched. And look, at the bottom, he came in from LinkedIn. That's how he found me. So now that I see that Chris Cole is a big fish in the sea, I would reach out to Chris and be like, hey, Chris, hope all is well. What about that business in the Caribbean? I reach out with something. But all of that would have came very strategically, right? The content that he would have found from you, 3 keys to Caribbean commerce, again, content I would have created would have all stemmed from the research I would have done. And to see someone like a Chris Coles subscribe to my platform and watch my webinar on 3 keys to Caribbean commerce, that would have made the research I would have done worthwhile. All right. So that's how HubSpot ties everything in together. And that's, again, just a very high level. Lastly, do you guys use Google Pixels? Sorry, do you guys use Facebook Pixels? Yes. Okay. So with your Facebook Pixel, okay, no problem. I'm pretty much done right here. So I just wanted to just touch on this, and then we're finito. With, oh my goodness, is this going to just freeze? With Google Pixel, right? Pixel. Oh, where is it? With Google Pixel, anytime someone comes to your website, it tags all of the visitors that have come to your website with a tracking code. So anytime you want to now market to them on Facebook, you can create an audience. So you can do something like this where if you create an audience, If you create an audience, we can tell Facebook, hey, go back to everybody who has come to our website. Go back to everybody who has come to our website and match every single person who has come to our website and use the pixel information to find their profile on Facebook. And then you could turn that into an audience, and then you can now market to them. But the reason why that is significant is because, remember, the better quality content you create, the more aligned content that you create, the higher quality people that are coming to your website are going to be tagged by your pixel. So even if they don't subscribe to your website, once they're at least tagged on your Facebook pixel, you can now remarket to those people on Facebook using the data that came in from the Facebook pixel.